All right, let's take a look at this. So it's a very simple cylinder with this little tab thing, but it's got a kind of an awkward intersection here. That's just going to be a little bit of a pain. So I think what I'm going to do is a little bit of creative editing here. I'm just going to scoot it away from the edge a bit so we still preserve the feature without creating more of a hassle than is required. Also, it may not even matter. I'm not sure how detailed I want to get. I might just completely have a plane in here, which would just basically bake it down like that. I think that's going to be fine. So we're going to keep it simple here. And well, so you've already seen me rebuild the cylinder a few times now. So let's try something a little different here. So I'm just going to pop these guys off for a moment. And what I want to do is I actually want to use this existing geo, which is not always going to be an option, but when it is, it's pretty useful. So what we basically want to do is we want to kind of eliminate, we don't need this edge. I am going to want to keep this, so I'm going to duplicate it. You can see I've got a bunch of stuff here in these little weird little transforms. So we'll say delete history on that. And let's see, I'm just going to call this one, ooh, shouting, cylinder low. So that way, you know, there's a high and a low, and I know I'm not reducing the wrong one. So I'm going to double click this edge here, hold shift and backspace. Sorry, control and backspace. It's funny when your finger knows how to do it, but your brain doesn't. Okay, so now there's a little bit of a trick. I need to select every other one of these, and to do that, I use a little bit of a script. I'll show you where I find that script. All right, so little white lie. I'm not going to show you where I found it. I just Google select every other edge loop. There's a Autodesk community page that pops up here. Maybe you can see it. Let's see, where is the recording window? Okay, so it is, if you just Google again, select every other edge loop, you'll get this little, you know, this little web page here, and then just scroll down until you see these sweet little lines right there. Just hit Control C. I'm going to double click this, open up my script editor. We're going to go to the Mill tab, and I just paste it in. So I have double clicked out here, and I don't need, let's see, this is going to be the ring, and this is going to be the loop. So that's a loop, that's the ring. So I'm going to just add a couple of forward slashes, which means this is no longer going to be executed, turns it into basically what's called a comment. And then if I just run this, it'll automatically select every other edge loop. Now you can see it doesn't do a great job because these come to a point and whatever. So we're going to need to just go and grab some of these. But that is one of the many, many useful things that you can accomplish very easily with script if you're so inclined. So I'm going to hold Control and backspace. Looks like I missed one, or two, or three. So and there's very little danger of this not lining up effectively with the geometry and the way that I want it to line up, because it's sourced directly from the high poly, and that's going to be great. So the original one here, we can see 1440 faces, and now that I have reduced it, it is 338. Is that right? Tries. So we're doing 1440 for tries, 628. So anyway, it's a lot cheaper, and that's a win, and I didn't have to retop anything, so yay. Okay. The other thing I want to do is make sure the edge here, see how it's kind of like sunk in a little bit? I don't need any of that inside stuff. So I want to make sure that I am as close to the surface without breaking it as possible, and that way I don't waste any textile space on this interior area. That looks pretty round. I'm going to call that a win. Cool. Okay. Oh, and we've got these guys that I still need to think about what to do with. So I'm going to hide all this. All right, and these I'm just going to go ahead and we'll just retop. No big deal. Get rid of my script editor. Okay, turn quad draw on. And we can knock this out pretty quickly. Unfortunately, it's not going across the X symmetry line, so we're going to have to do both sides here, but no big deal. See if we can help it figure out what I want. I will do an extend. And we can just try to massage this a little bit. So it's nice, it'll actually, if you just drag it right to the edge, it'll just stop. It won't go beyond the live surface boundaries. So that makes that a little bit easier to dial in. Cool. Hop out of quad draw, go to object mode. Turn live surface off. And I'm just going to show everything and then kind of sort things into high and low here. So display, show all. Edit, delete by type, history. So once you've deleted things by type, you can, or the history, then you can kind of move stuff out of these groups and delete the empty groups without too much trouble. These being the empty groups. All right, so there is the, I'm just going to call that high. Well, let's call it high gun, and then we're going to have cylinder low. So we'll call this cylinder high. At some point we're going to need to actually name all this stuff properly anyway. So I'll call this slot low and slot high. What's this? Oh, these could be combined. So the way it works when you combine something is whichever one you select first, the other one will basically be consumed into that. So if I go to slot high first and then I grab the other slot, just say mesh combine, I'll delete the history on it, and you can see, even though it got a 1 on it, basically that's the name that got preserved. And then we've got the cylinders one piece, which is cool. And what are we? Okay, so here's our little, call this aimers high, and then one more random thing, and here is our gun low, and I'm going to rename this to gun high. Basically what you want for baking, and I'll go over this in more detail. Wait a minute. So what's gun high? Maybe I've got 2 of these in here. That wouldn't really surprise me. There's one, there's the retop. So what is gun low? Ah, okay, so I have a little bit of a goof up here. I think I've got two guns, so I'm just going to call this gun dupe, just so I don't confuse myself. Get it kind of out of the way, and then here is gun low. Cool. All right, well, we're pushing 10 minutes here, so in the next video I'm going to go ahead and get these done, and then yay, I think we're done with retop.